other people to join us, but I'm going to go ahead and get started with this week's training. I just want to thank you all for showing up. It's great that you're taking the time to invest in learning and developing your business, and so I just appreciate that. Probably a lot of what I am going to be presenting today is going to be what they call preaching to the choir, so to speak, because the people on the webinar and the people who are going to watch the replay as well are people who are already engaging in their business, and so unfortunately it might be a little bit of that. I am going to go ahead and mute everybody. If you don't mind, if you have something you'd like to share, please make sure you unmute yourself and ask the question, or give your comment or what have you. But I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone just so we don't get the background noise. All right, there we go. All right, excellent. So here we go. So LUMALLIE Top Agent Referral, as you know, great business. I hope you guys are enjoying working for the company so far. Today's training, we're going to be going over coaching and accountability. Okay, so sometimes this can be a little bit stretch. It'll stretch you a little bit sometimes, or it can be a little bit difficult, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. So once again, I like to start off with this because it is your business and it is time for you to take ownership. And so, like I said, this is kind of preaching to the choir because the people on this call are people who are taking ownership in trying to develop themselves in their business. But you always need to keep that in mind, that it is your business. It's not going to work itself. It's not going to build itself. It's only going to be as great as you make it. And so take that ownership and be the boss you want to be for yourself. So today I want to talk a little bit about coaching and mentoring. So what is a coach or a mentor? And so I just want to actually open it up. I'm going to unmute everybody. If you want to give me your feedback, what do you think when I say coach or mentor? What are some thoughts that come to mind? Anybody?
I think when you're coaching somebody, it helps a lot to be available and answer questions if you don't have the answers. Research the questions so that you can help others build their business as well.
Excellent. Okay, good. All right. Anyone else want to chime in? All right. Well, that was good. Thanks, Sandra. So let's look at this a little bit. So oftentimes we think of like a football coach or a soccer coach or a sports team coach, right? And so they're a lot of times just yelling at their people, trying to get them to move, take action, and give them direction and so forth. There's several different kinds of coaches out there. There's those that work with a team. There's those that work in a business sense in a team. And there's also those that work more one-on-one directly with the individual. And so these people help guide, and they help train, and they help give direction and take people to their next level. But as I mentioned, there are several different types of coach. So when we talk about a mentor or a coach, you need to start asking yourself, who are you willing to be coached by? Okay, and so who are you willing to allow to guide you through the process? Who are you allowing to receive their coaching, their instruction? And are you teachable or coachable? So coaches are essentially teachers. If you think of in a classroom, those people are coaches as well, or mentors, because what they're doing is they're pouring into their students. They're trying to take them to that next level of learning. They're trying to take them to that next level of understanding. Same thing with coaches. They're trying to take you to that next level of performance, whether that's in the sports arena or whether that's in business or in relationships or anything. A coach, whether it's a life coach, a business coach, or a sports coach, is just trying to take you to your next level. Now, there's always a element of accountability involved in coaching. And so my question for you is, in your business, what are you accountable for and who are you accountable to? So take a moment to just think about that. What are you accountable for and who are you accountable to? And the follow-up to that is, what happens if you aren't accountable to anyone? And so this is kind of the problem. You are an independent contract worker. For this business, you have no liabilities, no responsibilities as far as you can build your business or you cannot. It's your business and you get to choose how much you put into it, how much you invest in it, how much time you put into it, how much money you put into it, how much effort you put into it, how much action you put into it. And so the question then becomes, who are you accountable for? Well, ultimately, you're going to be accountable to yourself. But we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about having an accountability partner to kind of help you be accountable and reach those goals and things that you are trying to get to. So why have a coach? This is from Bob Nardelli. He was the chairman and CEO of Chrysler. He also worked in a similar capacity for the Home Depot and GE. And he said, I absolutely believe that people, unless coached, never reach their maximum capabilities. And so this is the business side of things. He's saying if you don't have a coach, you're never going to reach your maximum potential, right? Your maximum capabilities. What are you actually capable of? So your business, and the same thing, if you aren't employing a coach, you're probably not going to reach the highest level of your business possible. Now, this is from Tom Landry. He was a football player and coach. He had a record 20 consecutive winning seasons and 2 Super Bowl titles in American football. And so he said, a coach is someone who tells you what you don't want to hear, who has you see what you don't want to see, so you can become who you always known you could be. And so that's the hard truth right there, that a lot of times we want somebody just to tell us what we want to hear. You know, we want to get the encouragement, but not the correction. And so a true coach, a true mentor, a true teacher is going to tell you not just what you want to hear. They're not going to tell you in school, you know, your teacher didn't say, oh, I'm going to give you an A, even though your paper maybe was subpar. Oh, you did a great job. No, they're going to let you know, you missed these points. You need to work on these elements. Same thing in sports. You need to work on these skills, these drills, so you can improve this performance. And same thing in business. It's going to carry over. So up to 40% of Fortune 500 companies now work with executive coaches, according to the consulting firm, the Hay Group. They did a study. And these are just a few key people in business that you may know of. Steve Jobs from Apple, Eric Schmidt of Google, Larry Page also of Google. By the way, I think this is hilarious that if you look, it says Steve Page. It's just lined up perfect. Jeff Bezos of Amazon and Ben Horowitz, who's also a venture capitalist, all have had or still have coaches at one point in time. So even the best in the business employ coaches. So why have a coach? Because they help you clearly define your goals. They'll work with you on where are you, where do you want to be, and how are you going to get there. They give you action items to move you toward your goal. Now, this is one that people don't like, but it is a very important key. They hold you accountable to taking action. So once they clearly define your goal with you, and once they give you those action items, they hold you accountable to take those action items that are going to propel you to your goal. They also monitor your progress and give you feedback along the way and make sure you are making the progress you need, and that if adjustments need to be made to your action items, they'll do that. And then this is one of the things that is very, very key and important. They encourage you in times of difficulty. Now, everybody in business, and it doesn't matter whether it's this business or any business out there. I've worked in many different businesses. I've owned several businesses myself, and I've had successful ones, and I've had ones that didn't succeed. And even the successful ones went through droughts. They went through periods of struggle, periods where the business was not doing well, and we had to work really hard. Without a coach, you have a tendency to want to quit, to want to give up too early, to want to stop your action that's going to propel you to those goals. One of the things that coaches are able to see in many different things, and especially in business and many elements of business, the laws of nature apply, and that is the seed, time, and harvest theory or concept. So you plant seeds, and then you need that time period for the seeds to develop, and a lot of times they develop roots and they develop growth. And so when we plant seeds in prospects to get into the business, sometimes it takes some time for them to process, and they don't sign up right away. When we talk to clients, buyers and sellers, about using our service, sometimes they're not ready to buy right away, or they're not ready to go ahead and use our service right away, and it takes time. Well, during that time period, the roots are growing, and a lot of times it's during the drought when the roots grow the strongest. And as we're developing our skills and so forth, our roots are growing, but we don't see the harvest until later. And so the coach or mentor is able to help you through those times of difficulty and encourage you and remind you that things are actually growing, things are taking place, even though you may not see the fruits of your labor just yet. And they help you stay the course. They also help celebrate your successes with you. Now, this is one that sounds very simple and great on the surface. You think, oh well, I have family members, I have friends that are going to celebrate with me. Your friends and your family members do not understand most of the time the adversity you've overcome, the growth you've gone through, the struggles you've had to endure to get where you're going to achieve that success. And so to them, yeah, great, here's your gold star, but they don't really appreciate the success as much as your coach who's been with you and walked with you through the process, through your journey. They're going to help you celebrate more. They're going to empathize more with you because they're going to know your story much more in depth than, say, a friend, family member, spouse, something like that. I can tell you, my wife and I are authors, and she helped us become bestsellers. We wrote a book together, but she is our marketing engine. And so when she got on the bestseller list, I was looking at some other metrics. I was looking at like return on investment. I was looking at how much money we'd spent on marketing to get there and different things. I minimized the success, and it really hurt her in how much effort she had put into that success of getting that title of best-selling author. That was her goal. And what I had other goals and other intentions, and so I minimized it, and I shouldn't have, because it was my award too, right? But it really hurt because I didn't go through the process with her of what it took to really achieve that thing, that success. And so when you have success, your coach is able to celebrate that more specifically with you and encourage you in the time of difficulty so you get there. So those two key things are very important for having a coach. So when considering a coach, there's some things you need to look at. Number one, the coach must be willing to work with you, right? Because there's a lot of great coaches. You may want the best coach out there, but if they're not willing to work with you, you just can't access them. They must understand your desired outcome. Okay, so what do you want? Do you want to simply get the most buyers and sellers into your business? Do you want to grow your team to X number of members? What is your goal, your outcome that you desire? Is it you want to reach X amount of money a month, and then they will work on you with how to get there? But they must understand your desired outcome. What is going to be considered success to you? You must trust them. And this kind of goes back to that accountability thing and the coachability thing. If you don't trust them, if you don't believe that they're going to be able to take you where you want to go, if you don't believe that their method is going to work out in the end and get you the results you need, it's not going to work. I think of the Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi, and he was doing the wax on, wax off, and he kind of trusted him for a while, but he lost trust until Mr. Miyagi had to prove to him what these stupid exercises were really doing. And so you have to trust that your coach knows what they're doing, and they're going to help you develop the skills and the business the way you need it to be to get the outcome you want. You must be willing to allow them to push you, or at least pull you. Okay. Now, I actually prefer pull over push because I don't push people. I will pull them. I will help them. I will encourage them, but I will not push somebody to do something. I actually should change the slide to say they will pull you. But you need to allow them to pull you along. If you are just going to dig your heels in, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Well, if you've ever tried to pull a horse that has just dropped its haunches and like dragging it, it's not going anywhere. And a lot of times that's what happens. You're like, I'm not going to do these actions. I'm not going to do that. If you're not willing to be moved by your coach, it's not going to work. And you must allow them to hold you accountable. When they say you need to perform these tasks and you don't perform those tasks, you need to be responsible to them and accountable to them and say, look, I just didn't follow through. You need to take ownership of that. You need to allow them to say, the reason why you're not being successful is because you haven't followed the plan. You aren't taking the action steps, the action items that we discussed. So you need to allow them to hold you accountable. But that also goes back to trust, because if you don't trust them, you're not going to allow them to hold you accountable. So where are you? Although a true personal coach is optimal, you can use the following to get started. However, you will have to hold yourself accountable or find an accountability partner to be successful. So There are some great books and audiobooks out there. I implement these tools and resources myself in addition to my coach and mentor. I have a number of books and resources that I go to. Think and Grow Rich, the 10X Rule, Building an Empire. I have there's all kinds of books in both network marketing as well as business building and coaching and things. And almost every single one of them have action items that you need to take in the process. And so if you do employ one of these, once again, you need to go back and hold yourself accountable to completing those action items. If you skip the things, if you skip the actions, you won't get the results. There are podcasts and videos and webinars out there put on by a number of different people. You can get the Tony Robbins podcast, or you could, follow any number of people out there, and videos on like YouTube and such, attend webinars and things. Now, you do need to make sure that they are going to line up with your ultimate goal, and that they're not going to conflict with, the business you're in or different approaches that you're being taught, because within this business, we have a system built. And so you can easily see, does this complement or contradict what my training is telling me to do? And if it contradicts, you need to talk to your upline and say, okay, well, why aren't we doing it that way? Or at least trust that the system is in place for a reason, because it is, and it's been tested. And but you can always question. And then the training program, our training program, if you follow the steps in the training, almost every single step has, or unit has, action items in place. So it may be, following up with your top 20. It may be making these cold calls. It may be, enlarging your circle of influence or finding new contacts. There may be additional tasks in there that if you don't follow those tasks, you're not going to move on. You shouldn't move on to the next unit, because you're not going to be effective in that portion. But follow the training program. That is an excellent way as well. However, once again, going back, you're going to have to hold yourself accountable or find an accountability partner. So this week, I have a couple of action items. Number one, consider and reach out to a potential coach or mentor, someone who you feel can help you build your business. Now, it doesn't have to be somebody within Top Agent Referral or LUMALLIE. This could be another business professional that you trust, that you know, and just say, hey, look, I would like someone to help coach me with my business and develop it. Once again, you need to make sure that it's going to line up with what our training program is and so forth. But see if you can have find someone who will help you be a coach or mentor. Number two, establish an accountability partner. Now, this one is easy. Now, this could be the coach or mentor up above, or this could be if you aren't able to connect with a coach or mentor, or if you need somebody else. An accountability partner can be virtually anybody, all right, as long as you're willing to accept the accountability from them. So if you say, this week I'm going to add 10 people to my contact list, 10 people, that's 2 a day, Monday through Friday. I'm going to add 10 people to my contact list this week and every week. Okay, great. Then at the end of the week, you need to report back to your accountability partner and say, I only got 7. And they need to say, okay, great. Well, what are you going to do next week to make sure you get those next 3? And are you going to try and make up the 3 that you missed? And so next week is 13, or are you just going to let those 3 go and we're going to focus on trying to get the 10 next week? You should never minimize your goal. You should always maximize it, because if you fall short on a larger goal, you're going to do much better than decreasing your goal. So don't decrease your goal. Change your actions to make sure you achieve your goal or surpass it next time. But establish an accountability partner. It could be a spouse. It could be, however, I don't recommend that, because usually it creates tension in your relationship. It could be a friend. It could be somebody else in the business. I have somebody who's not on my team, another person in LUMALLIE on a different team, who uses me as their accountability partner, because they know that I'm going to work and I'm going to hold them accountable. They say, I'm not doing any action. I just needed to report to you and tell you that I got stagnant and quit. And then I go back and I encourage them and I get them back on track. And we say, okay, well, what are you going to do now to fix this? Develop your business knowledge through training, our training program, and maybe even additional books or resources. and apply it. The apply it part is the key. It doesn't matter how much you learn, how much you understand, how much you know, if you don't ever apply it. You could be the smartest person in the world, but if you don't ever use that knowledge for anything, you don't produce anything. And so that is where the application is key. You can take someone who will outwork someone who is smarter, and they will succeed much, much more. Okay, so don't just learn about your business, don't just learn, get the knowledge, but apply it. All right, so um, Gus made it right at the end there. Gus, welcome. But so those are the action items. I'm gonna go through these one more time. When we consider a coach, not that one. The action items again, so you can see those for this week. Consider reaching out to a potential coach or mentor, see if you can make a connection there, establish an accountability partner, and then develop your business knowledge through training and apply it. So those are the 3 action items this week. Make sure you reach out and do those. And at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. You can unmute yourself and ask questions, or you can put them in the chat. And oh, getting a lot of wind noise. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Roger. Are you still getting the wind noise? I think the breeze calmed down there. I hope so. All right, so questions, discussions about mentors. What do you guys think? What's your feedback at this point? Do any of you have a coach or mentor currently? It got better. Excellent. So first question, does anybody have a coach or mentor currently for their business or, you know, life in general? Oh, the wind's coming back here. Let me see if I turn this way if it's better. Anyone? Not officially. Okay, good. I may have to duck around the corner here. Let me just move this. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So not officially, how about an accountability partner? Does anybody on the call have an accountability partner? All right, Gus, I'm gonna mute you because I got a little background noise. Unless you want to have something to say. Do you have something to say?
No.
Okay. I have a partner in another business that we bounce off of each other. Excellent. Okay. Paul, let me get to that question about the realtors in just a moment. But having an accountability partner in another business that you bounce ideas off of and things is good. But having an accountability partner is key. This can be very simple. Now, when I first started, and I've fallen away from it, I have an accountability system. Let me see if I can share this with you. Actually, I know my video is not going to be able to show you. So essentially, many of you know that I use Contactually. Actually, I'm gonna find a way to make this work. New share. Where's my? Let me get to my exit. Let me just minimize this right here. Okay, so I'm gonna try and share with you my Contactually because I want to show you how I use Contactually. Also, you can use tools and resources as your accountability and so forth, accountability more than anything as well. So here, let me put this over here. So you guys see my desktop right now, right? All right, this should come. There we go. All right, so come back over here. All right, so does everyone see? Okay, so this is my accountability, or sorry, this is another way that I stay accountable. I don't know if you can see up here in the top right, there is network health, and this gives me an A+ score. It tells me this yellow is when I haven't talked to people in a long time. So I use this as an accountability for following up with contacts and things like that. And so that can be another thing that you're accountable for. I'm gonna follow up with people I've talked to, or I'm gonna reach out to people that I haven't talked to in a month or 2 months or 6 months or whatever it is. But I wanna show you here, I'm able to there's a couple people, a couple of team members that use this Contactually system. One of them, I'm on Luke's team, and so I'm able to work with Luke here. And because he's been on vacation, his stats have actually been hurt a little bit in the last couple weeks, but he'll come back and he'll catch up on people. But as soon as this loads, I want to show you how this kind of helps hold me accountable, because I challenge myself to try and do more actions than the other people that I can see in this system and elsewhere. And so this is the activity in the last 30 days. And so the blue is emails and meetings and phone calls and other. So this is how many I have sent in the last 30 days here. And so I try to outperform my other people. It's a game. It's just a challenge for me to make sure. And so every once in a while, Luke will send out a bunch more emails, or he'll get a bunch of phone calls or meetings going, and he'll pass me up. And so I can break it down to weekly, I can break it down to monthly, or 30 days, or 90 days. But if you look in the last 7 days, like I said, he's been on vacation and he still has over 200 emails that he's put out and made some meetings and calls. But this is where I challenge myself to outperform people, to send out more emails, to make more contacts, to have more meetings, to have more phone calls, and actually touch base with people. Because if you're not touching base with people, if you're not contacting people, you're not going to grow your business. And so as you can see down here, it'll tell you if I've changed positive or negative, and some statistics and things. And so I use statistics to help me stay accountable as well. And so I'm not using this to brag or anything like that. I just wanted to show you how this tool, you can use tools sometimes to hold you accountable as well. This system here also holds me accountable daily, and I've already taken care of a couple of the tasks that I needed to do today before the meeting, but it gives me my tasks each single day. And so we talked about, when we set up our CRM, about putting in reminders and putting in tasks and things. And so as you can see here, this generates tasks for me each and every day of people to follow up with, tasks that I've put in, and different things like that, to be able to keep my health of my contacts, my database healthy, and that I stay in contact with them. So that's another way, is to use tools and resources to kind of help keep you accountable. Okay, excellent. So any other questions at this time? Any other comments? All right, so we can go completely off book here, off of the training. We can stray away from the topic of mentors and coaches if you'd like, and if you have anything else you want to ask about, let me know. I do want to address this kind of off-topic question here of some properties for sale with realtors in place. Are those off limits? Yes, those are off limits because they're already working with an agent, and the potential of moving them to a new agent is very unlikely, as well as it's unethical. It's not good business practice. You don't want to try and poach other people's clients. If you're talking to somebody, though, on a side note, if you're talking to somebody and they express dissatisfaction with the agent they're currently working with, you can always say, well, if you're interested, I can connect you with some top agents, but I don't want to, you don't want to poach people. You don't want to just straight out go after people who are already working with somebody else. It's just not good business, and you're probably going to get a negative response anyway, and that's not the image you want. If they open it up and say, man, I wish I knew somebody else that was better or that would be more productive or something, you can say, hey, well, I can connect you with the top agents, but I wouldn't actively go after people who have an agent in place. I hope that answers your question. However, what you can do, side note, if you see somebody who has an agent in place, you can ask them, hey, do you have a realtor lined up for your purchase? And so you could potentially see that way. Now, most people are going to try and use the same agent as they listed their home to sell their home, unless they are, like I said, dissatisfied with that person's performance or something like that. Or if they're moving out of state or out of the area to where that agent doesn't work there. So then you can always say, that's great that you have someone that's selling your home. Who are you working with to buy your next one? They've had it for sale for a couple of years. Yeah. Do you know them personally, Paul? It is a little bit different so if you know them personally, you can try and maybe get into a conversation. I wouldn't lead with trying to, give them that other option, but maybe just start asking some thought-provoking questions of, I've noticed your home's been sale for a while. How do you feel about your agent? What are they doing to market your home? You know, do you feel like that, you know, is an environment, a demographic issue, you know, like a regional issue? Is it where the home is? You know, are other homes not selling in the area either? Because it may not be that agent's fault. There may be some stigma with the property. There may be issues with the property. I don't know what the issue is, but I would just start asking them. You know, I've noticed it's been on the market for a while. What you know, what do you feel is the holdup? Why do you feel like it isn't moving? And it could be a pricing issue. It could be any number of things. But if they say that they're unhappy with their agent at that point, then you could potentially kind of, well, you know, I understand. And if you're ever in a position where you want to look at somebody else, I'd be happy to connect you with the top agents in the area. Oh, and you're wasting your time. As well as read the Zillow notes. Many agents owned, and you're wasting your time with them. Yep. Okay, high price for the area and not really accessible. Yeah, so those are issues where it may not be the agent, it may be the owner that's the issue there, where they're not willing to accept a reasonable price for the home. And so unfortunately, they may have a great agent, or I don't know, they may have the top agent. I don't know who they're using, and we wouldn't know unless we put them through the screening process. But yeah. Yep. Right, Roger, I like that. Read the Zillow notes, because you're right. In the Zillow training, we talk about that too, where you don't want to go after people who are working with agents already. I'm pretty sure that's what you meant by that comment. All right, what else is happening in your business? Oh, I did want to put out, kind of going back to the coaching and mentoring and accountability thing. I have limited time, and my team is growing very rapidly. And where I'm at is I'm in selective mode with who I'm willing to coach and work with. If you are interested in me coaching or mentoring or holding you as an accountability partner, I am willing to work with people who reach out to me, but it's going to be kind of on a limited basis, and it's going to depend on who that person is and how much involvement they need. But I'd be happy to talk to you if that's something you're interested in. I can probably at least take care of some of that accountability pieces and things like that. County. Sending me pictures of for sale by owner signs. Okay, yeah, excellent. So your family's helping you out and finding people. Are they, when they give you the pictures of the for sale by owner signs, are they getting you a phone number, or I hope the number's on the phone, on the sign or something? Are they giving you a way to contact them? Okay, good. Yeah, because it's great. Great. Another one for sale by owner. How do I reach them? How do I know, how to contact them? But if they're getting you at least a phone number to call them and follow up, that's excellent. You live kind of in the woods, huh? Yeah, right. So that's hard when you're in a remote area and you don't have a lot of contact with people. You don't have a lot of options, and yeah, that's tough. Okay, Paul, can we use this service for family members? Absolutely. You can use this service for yourself. If you are buying or selling a home yourself, you can put yourself in, register yourself as a buyer or seller on your own site, and receive compensation for that once the transaction closes. You absolutely can do family members. I actually just closed my grandfather's closed 2 days ago, the 16th. My grandfather used our service. You'll be seeing a testimonial coming out pretty soon about that one. Had an excellent agent. He's 90 years old, had to move in with family members due to health issues and stuff, need people to take care of him. But it's his greatest investment. He needed the most amount of money for his last asset, basically, and used our service, had a great experience, and I'm receiving compensation for that. So it's excellent. It works well for family members as well, and all over. He's in Colorado, but I also have family members in Texas. I'm sorry, that wind's probably coming back again. I'm trying to can't find the angle. I may have to move over, but I'm gonna move this way. There we go. All right, so yeah, family members are excellent, especially out of state. You can work with all kinds of people. So absolutely use your family members. Not use them, help them. All right, any other questions or things you guys want to address today? I do want to encourage you today to take action. Make sure you do consider employing a mentor or a coach of some sort. And when I say employing, it doesn't mean you have to go out and pay somebody, although you get what you pay for a lot of times. But try and find a mentor or a coach, someone to speak to. If nothing else, find a resource to, a good book. And if you need, we can recommend some. I would probably 10x rule is an excellent one to start with, because it talks about taking action and how more action will give you more results and things. And so 10x is a great one. Think and Grow Rich is an excellent one. It has some action items in it as well. It's time proven, is written in 1938 or something like that. And so those are two off the top of my head that I would say, if you don't have somebody else, make sure you go and get a resource, follow the action items within it. And more than that, get an accountability partner, because without an accountability partner, what happens is we just kind of sit back and we just don't take the action that we need to. We know we need to add to our contact list. We know we need to, find new areas of marketing. We know we need to post more social media, whatever it is, however you're really growing your business. We know we need to take the action, but a lot of times we need to have somebody hold us accountable for that action, so that when we don't, we have to answer for it. And I'm not saying you have to have great serious consequences, but you need to at least feel the discomfort of owning up to your not following through, your lack of follow-up. So accountability partner and coach, and use the tools. So I hope that's helped. Oh, accountability partner. So I am going to hold you all accountable to this too. If you have not, and this is for everybody on the recording as well, if you have not completed your new member packet, if you have not DocuSigned that and sent it back, that is your number one thing. I receive copies of the new member packets for the people on my team, and I do not have everybody's new member packet. I'm going to tell you that right now. There are people who have not finished completing their new member packet, and I'm going to guess it's probably because of the names, the top 20 names that you need to contact. And so that may be it. So as far as accountability goes, for me, that's where I'm going to start with, is if you have not, and if you're not sure, go to your back office, check it out. It's in your back office. If you have not completed your new member packet, that should be action item number 1, new member packet. All right. Well, that's all I have for today. It is got about 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and join Luke's webinar here in a few. I'm not sure if you guys have registered for that. Make sure you catch a webinar. We have been doing some great updates to the webinars, adding some additional slides and presenting things a little bit differently. So make sure you jump on one of those webinars, but don't just jump on a webinar. Find somebody else, invite them, bring them with you, have somebody else check out the business with you. Even if you say, you know what, this person's probably not going to join, but you say, hey, look, I started a new business. I want to get your feedback on what you think about this business opportunity. I want some honest feedback, so can you watch this webinar with me? They may go ahead and join anyway, or they may not, but it'll be a great way for you to get some feedback as well. And you'll also know, what they think about it from an outside perspective. So excellent. I'm glad you all made it. Make sure you have a great week. Take some action this week, and have a great one. Build your business. We'll see you soon.